premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
It's the Chase! It's the Chase! Live 1 to 3, Monday through Friday on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville. Listen to Chase and his friends on WKGN. It's the Chase! It's the Scruffy City! Listen to his friends, and his friends are on WKGN. I'm always taking your calls on the Tennessee Vols. It's the Chase! It's the Chase! It's the Chase!
All right, the Chase is on East Tennessee. My name is Chase Thomas, joined alongside Ryan Sylvia of Rocky Top Insider, and we're coming to you live from beautiful Knoxville, Tennessee, here in the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. We're back on Fan Run TV, right here on YouTube, streaming all across our social media platforms as well, over there on X, on Facebook, YouTube, and Ryan Sylvia of Rocky Top Insider joins me here. Ryan, good afternoon, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good. We got a tea time. I feel like we talk about the Friends of the Chase golf outings a lot. We got a tea time tomorrow with Ryan Shumpert and Caleb. So it'll be a good time out there. Try to stay cool, but I've been taking the mental reps, making sure that I don't let Caleb beat me for that first time. That's good. You got to pace yourself. You know, it's going to be hot. I'm going to go ahead and guess another hot one. And, you know, you got to catch up because I think Shump played a lot, you know, with his Ryder Cup tournament he's been doing. And then Kale's been just electric on the links of late. That's what Caleb's never beaten me because he just started golfing. I'm not a crazy experienced golfer or anything like that, but he has been grinding and that score has been dropping and dropping, and it's starting to worry out to golf in a while. So I'm taking that extra preparation. I'm just playing it. We're putting from the fairway. We're doing whatever we need to do to make sure we shoot as low as possible. We don't let Caleb win. That's very fair. As someone who gets bullied on this show every Monday by Caleb Giroux of the Daily Times, we are pro Ryan Sylvia in his tournament this week. But it's good to have you here on a Wednesday. We appreciate it. We appreciate you guys for listening to us here on The Chase on this beautiful Wednesday. We are with you from 1 to 3, Monday through Friday, right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville. Did you know you can also listen to us on the free Fan Run Radio app? You can listen on 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app as well. There's just so many different ways you can be involved with the show. You can call and text us at 865-966-3435. Again, you can call us and or text us at 865-966-3435. We have a jam-packed show for you guys here with Ryan Sylvia of Rocky Top Insider in studio with us here on a Wednesday. We're going to get into Boo Carter and Nico Iamaleava and why this is a big conversation now as the week goes on. And we'll talk about what a potential Boo departure, suspension, who knows what that entails here over the next couple of weeks with fall camp opening up next week, what that could potentially mean for a secondary that's already kind of not decimated, but, you know, on the fritz with Jermon McCoy's uncertain injury status going into fall camp starting next week and when he'll be available for the Vols in 2025. We're going to talk about Joel Klatt and him selling the Vols here in 2025 and whether or not we agree and why Georgia and Tennessee might have a lot more in common heading into the 2025 season than maybe even Georgia fans, certainly Georgia fans, but also SEC fans as a whole might suspect. Hour 2, we're going to continue our Vols Hoops New Faces, New Roles segment with Dwayne Brown, the true freshman 4-star from Hoover, here with Ryan Sylvia, along with Lauren Hurst, and what she brings to the Lady Vols here in her freshman season with Kim Caldwell. We're going to talk about Florida, South Carolina, and Oklahoma, who has the best chance of making the CFP of those teams. And then we're going to wrap up with some Lost in the Smokies, an off-topic segment that we're going to try here each and every day right here this summer on The Chase. And so we got a jam-packed show for you guys here today. We appreciate you watching and listening wherever, whenever, right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville. Ryan Sylvia, you know this hurts me. I have been a Boo Carter stan is probably a little bit too far. A Boo Carter believer from the very beginning. And Boo Carter, I think, has a chance to be Tennessee's best player if he is a member of the Tennessee Volunteers in 2025. I have been so excited to see him be the full-time punt returner over a full season and what that could mean for Tennessee, especially when you look at just the questions where things stand offensively for Tennessee and where the passing game might be, where the quarterback play might be. I look at Boot Carter as someone who could flip the field, who could help Tennessee when the offense is maybe in the mud a little bit, especially in the passing game. And I think you obviously are excited to see what he could do in some snaps at the slot position for Tennessee if he gets some run there as well. But he was the only true freshman starter last year for Tennessee. He got a bunch of reps. Former blue chip player out of Chattanooga and Bradley Central. The stuff that's going on this week and all the various rumors that we're not going to dive into, it's still a lot unsettled. I just look at it as like, man, I understand that Nico is the quarterback and the Nico part of it was pretty jarring, but I don't think it's crazy to say because of how many different areas Boo was going to be potentially impactful for Tennessee in 25. If he's not on this team, if that actually does come to fruition, if that is something, that is where this goes potentially, or a suspension, who knows, like what might happen, or nothing happens. But if something it were to happen where Boo is not someone Tennessee can count on in 2025, there is a part of me that does believe that that would be a bigger loss for Tennessee than what Nico Iamaleava would have been for Tennessee in 2025. Is that egregious?
Just because of the positions they play, I think I would still say, and like you said, it's all rumors right now. It's all theoreticals. It's all potentials. So we'll see how things transpire, and we'll presumably get more information a week from today once fall camp starts to get going. But given the position that Nico Iamaleava plays, the most important position in football at quarterback, that's a tough loss. And with the limited time they had to replace him, you can like Joey Aguilar as much as you want, but not having that much time to, get settled in and learn the system and do all those different things, that's a tough ask. For Boo Carter, yeah, I think you're really excited to watch him return punts and to watch him return kicks. I think everyone had penciled in at least one punt return for a touchdown. Maybe you see the second one of his career as well if he can get two to the house. But at defensive back, you're pretty deep there. I think you have to be happy about if Boo Carter wouldn't play this year, that you have depth there and you have the pieces you would want. And then if you're talking about what he would do on the offensive side of the ball, I think that's still so up in the air as well. Like what actually was Boo Carter going to give you on the offensive end this year? It's been kind of vague at times where, he's getting snaps. You saw him in practice when we were there doing this and that, but how much of those packages would actually come into play? So for me, I still think Nico's the bigger loss just because that's your quarterback. And he was going into year two where you presumed he was going to take a jump just simply out of comfort compared to a punt returner, defensive back who was maybe going to play a little receiver who had the potential to be considered the best player on the football team. But is that going to be the difference between you going 9-3, 10-2 this year and 8-4, 7? I don't think that's going to fully cause you to lose some games this year.
I don't know if it is going to cause them to lose some games, but there is a scenario where if Tennessee is in a dogfight against Oklahoma at home, let's just say, or Arkansas, and it's a low-scoring affair, the offense is stuck in the mud, Boo Carter returning punts or Boo Carter making a play on defense, whether it's interception, fumble, big-time sack, forced fumble, that could swing a game. Boo Carter has that kind of talent to swing a football game in 2025. And for me, I don't know. It really, really does bum me out because I'm such a big Boo Carter believer and think that he has that potential to be a superstar for Tennessee. I think there's a scenario where he is the leader in snaps for Tennessee all across the board. So I just think here's the other part of it. You're so late in the process. You've already lost Jacoby Thomas and Christian Charles to the portal here in the spring window. Who are you replacing Boo Carter with? You were already concerned about what the star position was looking like behind him. Like you didn't have Christian Harrison is off to Cincinnati. Jordan Thomas doesn't seem like an option in 2025 either. Who are you going to at star to replace him if he's not on this team? There's no option. Like you're going to have to go, true freshman maybe? Are you moving Caleb Beasley over to star here in fall camp? And then what is your depth at safety behind Idris Farouk and Andre Turrentine in 2025? You're going to play a bunch of young guys. I mean, Jalen McMurray and Colton Hood. I mean, as a spring transfer, Colton Hood, man, you're going to be a player. Like, there's no way that Colton Hood is not going to be counted on to be an important contributing factor this secondary in 2025 now. But, man, that position, he's going to play so many snaps. And I just think he is so electric on punt returns and so important in that way. And then as another guy with so much uncertainty in that receiver room, that he's an intriguing guy that if things don't go well, Brandon Staley needs a rest, and you don't want to throw true freshman Joakim Dotson, who was a spring enrollee, one of the 2 spring enrollees for Tennessee in this 2025 class. Like, he is someone who could be in the red zone if the red zone woes continue from a year ago. Boo Carter is someone who has that shiftiness and has that twitch that outside of Mike Matthews, not really anybody has at Tennessee right now. And I don't know, man. It's been a rough week. It's been a rough offseason as a whole for Heupel in this program. But I don't think it's egregious to say that there is a possibility that, because Nico was theoretical. I know Boo Carter was a good player. I know Boo Carter as a true freshman was a good player for Tennessee last year. I know Boo Carter is a good punt returner based on what we saw. I mean, he would have housed that one against Georgia if Jalen McMurray hits that block on the punter with Brett Thorson in Athens. I know he can change games and flip fields on special teams. It's just, I don't know. I really, really, really hope this can get resolved, because Boo Carter, man, he's a guy that just, they're hard to find. Those kind of blue chip super athletes that I think can contribute in a big time way for Tennessee this fall, where they have a lot of questions and they're really young. Boo Carter is one of their best young pieces, and I don't know, it's scary. And I think there's a path where quarterback play could be fine without Nico Iamaleava. I think there's a real problem with the secondary if Boo Carter is not available, and especially on punt return, because like, who are you throwing back there? You can't throw Jamad, who is getting reps there, and Squirrel White's gone. Like, Jamad, you're not risking that with him coming back. Who are you throwing back there? Like, I have no idea, but that is a big loss if that is how things go. And for me, I just never a dull moment here in Big Orange Country. Ryan Sylvia.
I think it's mostly just kind of annoying that this is even a conversation right now, and that rumors, whether they're true or not, are even a thing, given all the drama and everything that unfolded in the spring with the whole Nico situation. Like, that's just frustrating. And it's got to be extremely frustrating for Heupel to have to deal with all this off the field stuff when he's such a guy too. I mean, you think back to when they were going to Ohio State last year, all he wanted to do was put the ball down and go play some football. So you can only imagine what it's like for him during the off seasons, where all he wants to do is play football. And now there's all this stuff going on, and he's sitting here and he's like, can we just play some football and focus on what's going on the field? On the offensive side of things, it doesn't, like, I don't really get bothered by thinking too much about what Boo Carter is going to do on that end. I think, as you mentioned, like, okay, well, who's in the slot behind Brandon Staley, this and that. I think there's a good chance with or without a Boo Carter that you're not 12 personnel this year. Like, I think that's the easy solution, is you have your reps for Mike Matthews and Chris Brazel on the outside. I think Junior, as a true freshman, is someone they like enough to get some snaps on the out and play a role on the inside, obviously, as that theoretical starting slot receiver. But I just think there's such a good chance that we're going to see a lot of 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end packages. You're going to get Miles Kitzel and Ethan Davis, with Ethan Davis is practically a receiver at times. Like, he can block. He's progressing in that way as well. But I think that we're looking at a lot of 12 personnel this season, just like we saw get introduced last year, where that's kind of how you cover up a lot of those questions at receiver. Is you got a deep tight end room. You have those 2 guys I just mentioned. You have the 2 true freshmen, Deshaun Bram and Jack Van Dorselaere. You have second-year Cole Harrison. You have the depth at tight end, I think, to become a little bit more maybe of a 12 personnel team than Josh Heupel initially anticipated he would be when he got this job, and it was just all 11 personnel all the time.
When we come back, we'll talk about Joel Klatt, Fox Sports Joel Klatt, and what he thinks of the Vols. We'll also talk about Greg McElroy of Always College Football, who has a very different take on Tennessee. So we'll examine what both college football analysts had to say about the Tennessee Vols going into this upcoming season. Stick with us. It's The Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app, and also back on YouTube, X, and Facebook streaming. So if you want to watch us, you can do so by checking us out on Fan Run Radio on YouTube as well. Stick with us. It's The Chase right here.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Listen up, this is Thomas Miles, nephew Tommy. Okay now, fellas, let's be adults for a minute. Let me ask you something. When the lights go down in the bedroom, are you still clocking in, or is the equipment on strike? Look, Erectile dysfunction is real. It can mess with your mood, your confidence, and don't even talk about the side-eye you get from your lady. But there's good news. Men's Pro Knoxville has licensed medical providers who specialize in turning oh no into let's go. And forget those same old pills. They don't work for everybody. These folks have options most men don't even know exist. Your consultation, just $99. Blood work, consult, and maybe even a test dose if the doc says so. They got an in-house lab, so you'll know where you stand in minutes, not days. So stop stressing. Call 865-544-8220 or hit menspronknoxville.com. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Airlines have just reduced their prices even more. Book 30 days in advance and save big.
Want the absolute lowest prices on your airline tickets? Then call the Low Cost Airlines Travel Hotline right now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. The only way to access our low rates and save up to 70% is to call. Save hundreds on your vacation tickets by calling right now. You can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-631-1754. 800-631-1754. 800-631-1754. That's 800-631-1754.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
It's a Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app. You can also watch us on YouTube. Join the chat over there on our Fan Run YouTube channel. You can also watch us on X, Facebook, and however else you can find the show. Guess what? You can find us. We're back on video here on a Wednesday with Ryan Sylvia of Rocky Top Insider in studio with us. Ryan Sylvia, Joel Klatt, and Greg McElroy, two very different opinions on the Tennessee Vols in 2025. You can see Greg kind of optimistic as an SEC guy and obviously a Alabama guy, but does great work over there with Always College Football. And I think he's a good color commentator next to Sean McDonough. I think they do a good job over there on ABC as well. But he has a very different take than where Joel Klatt, Fox Sports, former Colorado quarterback, has the Vols. Which way do you tend to lean based on what you read about what Klatt is doing here when he's selling the Vols in 2025, while also pointing out that they've been very consistent? Like, he does mention that, but still selling the Vols in 2025. And then maybe why Greg McElroy is bullish on Tennessee, primarily his point of reference being if the O-line and Joey Aguilar works out, then there's a chance that they could be really dangerous this year, which I think that's the case for most power programs, is that if the offensive line and your trench play and your quarterback is good, the team's probably going to be good. Like, I think that it's going to be hard to find a team where they're not good in the trench, or they're good in the trenches, they're good at quarterback, and they don't win a lot of football games. I think that's just the nature of the beast in this sport. But what say you, Ryan Sylvia?
I think Greg McElroy is probably closer there with like this roster is really good still. And there's still the questions around quarterback, and there's still the questions on the offensive line with 4 new faces and 1 returner who kind of had to battle through injury all year and wasn't very good, and Lance Hurd at left tackle. But the defense should still be really good. You still have some weapons at receiver. It's thin, and there's still some unprovenness to that room, but there are weapons there. And obviously you lose Dylan Sampson, which stinks, but you have to feel pretty good about the 3 guys you have there that have the opportunity to play this year as well. So the roster is good enough that I think as long as you can kind of control the games like you did at times with Nico last year, where, hey, just don't turn the ball over, fall back on the defense, get the run game going, and you're going to probably be fine. Like, you'll win those 4 out-of-conference games. I'm not too worried about Syracuse, and you shouldn't lose too many of those SEC games against the Mississippi States, the Arkansas, and the Kentuckys, and those teams that you kind of got lucky with this year that are at the bottom of the SEC. So I think if you're just looking on paper, like, yeah, Greg McElroy is probably closer, but at the same time, I can't blame anyone for selling on Tennessee right now. And Joel Klatt did say this is like a 1-year period that he's looking at. He's not trying to project into the future, because I think if you look beyond this year, Tennessee's in great hands. Josh Heupel's done a phenomenal job to build up this program, and the talent's coming in, and there's a bunch of young guys on the team right now that may not play a role this year, but are going to play a lot going forward. So going past this season, yeah, I think Tennessee's going to be really good and going to be as close to a perennial playoff team as you can get in the SEC. For this upcoming season, if you're not too high on what Tennessee has with Joey Aguilar, and you have questions about what that offensive line is going to look like, where you have a true freshman in David Sanders who's going to have to play a big role at tackle, and you have an unproven guy at center, whoever wins that job, and your 2 guards are transfers, like, yeah, I can completely understand why you would want to sell in that regard too. But for me personally, it feels like a 9-3 team probably, which is by far away from a bad season, I guess you should say, especially given all the drama this offseason.
I don't think it's an overreaction to say I'm leaning more towards 8-4 if Boo Carter's not on this team.
See, I don't think that Boo Carter, as much as he had the potential to be the best player on the football team, or still has, once again, all rumors. So, you don't want to jump the gun too much here, but
I mean, it's not really even jumping the gun. It's just like, hey, there's a lot of stuff out there right now, and we have to at least plan for both scenarios now, right? Like, there is now at least there's a conversation that both are in play, which is not where we thought we would be here a couple days ago.
Yeah, I mean, the conversation's worth having. I just don't think that Boo Carter is the difference between you going 9-3 and 8-4.
I think it could swing a game. I would give it a game. I would probably drop Tennessee's projected win total by a game.
I think it's more so the other way. Like, if I'm sitting here and I'm thinking Tennessee's going to go 9-3, I think there's a chance Boo Carter on the roster wins you an extra game and maybe does something special and returns a punt in a close game, or has a pick 6 in a close game, or does something like that. And maybe all of a sudden you're looking at 10-2 rather than without him, that means an extra loss, if that makes any sense. I think he's more so could get you an additional win, if kind of goes hand in hand there. But if you go what I'm saying, I think it's more of a cherry on top.
Yeah, I guess if I'm going to be as bullish as I've been on Boo all offseason, then I have to put my money where my mouth is when it comes to like what his loss would mean for Tennessee. Like, this would just be devastating for me. Significantly more devastating than Nico Iamaleava's departure. And that one hurt. But again, he was still theoretical. I know Boo is a good player. I know that Boo Carter is someone who can flip the field on special teams. I know he's someone you can count on at star to play a bunch of snaps. I know he's someone that when he's in the game, he's going to make an impact. Like, he is a impact blue chip player that has shown up on the field as a true freshman. The only true freshman started last year. I hope it gets worked out, because Boo Carter is a sensational football player, and I would like to continue watching Boo Carter play football for my team. That'd be great. I would really, really appreciate that, Ryan Sylvia.
I'm just, for the Nico Iamaleava situation, like, I'm still in the boat that if he returned, he was far from great last year. I think we can all admit that. He was a game manager and he was fine. I think fine's the word to use for Nico last year. But if he returns, and even if he doesn't take a step towards the Heisman conversation or something, like, even if he's just goes from fine to good, like, you look at that schedule, and with the returning quarterback who you expect to be a lot more comfortable, all of a sudden you're kind of like, this team's 10-2. Like, this team's back in the playoffs. This team has the potential to go on the road and beat an Alabama team who has an unproven quarterback. This team has the potential to, who knows what Georgia looks like. You can get them at home this year. Like, you can kind of go through all those scenarios. And I don't know, it starts to feel like, okay, this team's definitely poised to go back to the playoffs. You lose your quarterback, the most important position on the field. And now there's a quick turnaround. If you want to get Joey Aguilar ready, you don't have a lot of time. If you want to go Jake Merklinger, he doesn't have experience. You're not in a great situation there. So for me, that's why I still go, if you had to pick which one hurts Tennessee more for the upcoming season, it would still be Nico because of the position and just look at like the schedule. If you have that consistency at quarterback and he can even just be a good game manager next year, it's like, man, all of a sudden that playoff odds have to feel good.
Here's the thing about Nico in this regard. The problem with Nico's departure is not, I don't even think it's a contest if Nico doesn't leave in the spring portal window. The problem is when Nico left. If Nico had left in December,
I don't think there's an issue then.
I think you
probably end up with
upgraded.
John Mateer or something. Like I would agree. You probably do upgrade in that
Luke
spot.
Altmaier, Josh Hoover, Sawyer Robertson. I think you upgrade in 2025 alone if Nico leaves in December. I think Tennessee would have been able to land someone better. So for me, the Nico part of it is just that like the timing was terrible. And again, the timing is terrible with Boo. Like this is not something you want looming over your program going into fall camp next week. Like the timing could not be worse in both instances.
Yes, but I agree. Nico leaves after the season, and I don't think there's much of a worry. And Tennessee does fine in the portal and finds a quarterback that, like you said, very well could have a better immediate future than Nico would have had. With Boo, it's like, I mean, okay, even if he goes, the guys behind him were still going to have to play some sort of role this year. So it doesn't feel as like, yeah, the timing's not good. You never want to lose someone that you wanted to contribute in the spring, but like, I don't know. It just feels like the defensive back who's going to come behind him, whoever, if Deshaun Bishop's returning punts now, like, yeah, that's not as dynamic as Boo Carter, but it's just, it doesn't feel as difficult to replace as the guy who you fully expect to be your starting quarterback off of a team that went to the playoffs last year.
Let's get intern producer Matt Bailey. What do you think?
Dang, I'm back down to intern status now.
I don't know. Are you not intern?
No, I guess technically I still am, even though I've been here for over a year easily. But
okay. Producer Matt. Apologies here.
No,
Producer
all
Matt.
Good. All good. No, I get what you're saying. I don't know that Boo Carter pushes the needle the way that you think he would. I think he's a great player on the football field, and he would make a big difference. But I don't know that it would be as big of a difference as far as an extra game, like an extra loss on our schedule if Boo Carter's not on that team. And I think if some of this stuff that's going on that they're saying in the locker room is true, then you almost don't even want that. You know, it could poison the rest of the, one apple ruins the whole bunch. You know, it could kind of get in the heads of some of the players. You could have some locker room issues, and it could affect the whole unit as a whole. But with Nico, I don't know. I think that you could still potentially have an upgrade there. I think that you lose him in the spring, and obviously the problems you guys have pointed out are true. He's short time with Joey. You don't have experience with Jake. But I think that you still potentially, I mean, we've said it over and over again. Nico's year last year was the worst statistical quarterback season that any quarterbacks had under Josh Heupel. And I think if you even get, something similar or even just a slight better statistical season, that you could have the same year that you had last year.
I wonder about the vibe, though. If 3 out of 5 years you have a below average passing game, the chunk plays aren't there again, and how folks feel if you limp your way to 8-4 like you did in 23, and then you win a bowl game, maybe you get some juice back there. I don't know, because I imagine Joey Aguilar would not play in the bowl game if he is the quarterback all season and gets you to 8-4. I would imagine it'd probably be like Jake or George in that circumstance, and maybe give them that opportunity. Maybe you do play Joey, I don't know, but ultimately that's a long way from here. I just wonder what the vibe is, because I think Tennessee has just a very strong floor. I still very much trust his defense. I trust it a little bit less if Boo's not around, because that secondary is thin and young in a hurry. And if Jermod was okay and ready to go right away, then I'm probably more bullish that they could be fine because they can move someone around to that star spot. But you're just so late in the process. Like, this is just so late that you've already lost Jacoby. Christian Charles would have made sense, right? Like, if Christian Charles doesn't enter the portal, like, you're like, okay, we got hey, like we're going to be all right. Christian Harrison, if he's okay being a backup and being a guy who plays 25% of the snaps and Boo plays 75%, then you would be okay there potentially as someone who'd been in the program multiple years. You just don't have a veteran guy you can throw in there at this point. Like there's just not someone, there is not, I mean, you're already replacing one of the safety spots with a true sophomore in Idris Farouk, who has not played a whole lot of football for Tennessee. And I don't know, man. I think you really got to get Boo Carter in the boat here. You gotta get him on the track. You gotta go. I mean, part of what you're talking about is like, we just don't know on the outside. Like when you talk about the team chemistry stuff, it's just, we can't really speculate on that because we just don't know. And I'm at like culture is obviously a big part of what Heupel is doing and everything. But look, I made the point after 23, Tennessee made a bad decision by letting Tyler Barron walk. Like Tyler Barron moving on was a mistake. Tennessee tried to replace Tyler Barron in the aggregate. They did the Moneyball thing where it's like, all right, Jason Jenkins, Dom Bailey, and Tyree West, that combination will be able to get by and get similar production to what we got just from Tyler Barron. That didn't happen. Like Tyler Barron and James Pierce were electric with playing off one another. They had fantastic chemistry. They were dudes on the defensive line. You saw what Barron did at Miami this past year. You saw how Barron wrecked the Florida game for Miami. They missed Tyler Barron. The sack numbers dropped last year. James Pierce dropped last year. Part of it was no Tyler Barron on the opposite side. No Tyler Barron in Rabbit's package for Tennessee on big time third downs. You have to be very careful in terms of like how much you go culture and then how much you're like, all right, well, we still need a certain amount of blue chippers. We still need a certain amount of talent to win games because ultimately this is all about winning football games. This is all about this is a $1 billion sport. When you're including a talent fee, when you are raising the bar to the level that Tennessee has raised the bar over the last 4 years in the Heupel era, like you are now in the blue chip ratio, the top one of 18 teams who can win a national championship. Like talent matters. Like ultimately talent is the most important thing to getting Tennessee to where they need to be. So it's why they get paid the big bucks. It's why Josh Heupel makes a lot of money to be the head football coach of Tennessee. It's like, these are hard things that I don't envy the spot that he and his staff are in. But at the end of the day, like Boo Carter is a big time player. Tyler Barron was a big time player. James Pierce was a big time player. Like there is a fine line of just, hey, I understand we got to protect our culture. We got to do this, that, and the other. The other side is like, are they a good player? Because the rules are different for elite football players and elite basketball players and elite baseball players, generally speaking, right? Like we've seen that in sports forever. It's not the same for everybody. It's tough. It's a tough spot for Heupel and his staff to be in. But at the end of the day, this would be just a devastating final blow to what has been just a really brutal offseason for Tennessee, which should be you should have gone into this year excited, where you're just coming off another CFP appearance. Like you're like, oh, can we get back? Like you should be coming into this year excited if you're a Vol football fan. And I just feel like everyone's just exhausted. Like if you ask any Vol football fan, how do you feel about the team right now, or keeping up with the team? I guarantee you the vast majority are just tired and just let's turn the page and just get on with it. Call us, text us, let us know if I'm right here at 865-966-3435. If you want to join the show and be a part of this conversation today, you can join us. Call us, text us at 865-966-3435. When we come back, I'll make the case that Georgia in 2025 and Tennessee in 2025 have a lot more in common on the football front than most folks might think. Stick with us. It's The Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app.
Check out our new and improved website at fanrunradio.com.
Back by popular demand, all you can eat Wednesdays with your Knoxville Smokies. The most delicious Wednesday dinner is tonight. All you can eat pulled pork, hot dogs, Bush's baked beans, and more. Is anyone else getting hungry? We'll see you tonight.
Hey Knoxville, Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside, or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Rickard Ridge Barbecue, located in beautiful Cove Lake State Park. Rickard Ridge is home of the best ribs in the volunteer state. Smoked daily by pitmaster Mark Rickard. The barbecue at Rickard Ridge is mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone delicious. Take the scenic drive up I-75 to exit 134. For directions and to look at the rest of the menu, visit Rickard Ridge online at rickardridgebbq.com.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
If you're looking for a sports talk show that gets to the bottom of the biggest sports topics, then check out Under Review on Fan Run Radio. I'm Bob Baskerville, and every day, Sam Beard and I cover the latest news on the Vols. We also widen our view to cover what's hot in the SEC. From local and national media pros to the coaches and players we all root for, we have the best guests and experts anywhere. So tune in weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on AM 1340, FM 105.7, or stream live on our free app. It's Under Review on Fan Run Radio.
Is your smile ready for the spotlight? Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco, and at Knoxville Smiles, we make every visit a reason to smile. From routine cleanings to dazzling cosmetic treatments, our experienced team uses the latest technology to keep your teeth healthy and your smile bright. With a warm, welcoming atmosphere and personalized care, we're here to make sure you leave feeling your best. Don't wait. Your perfect smile is just a call away. Book your appointment today at 865-539-1776 or online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app. We're back on video, so if you want to watch us, guess what? You can do so over there on YouTube. Check us out right there on Fan Run Sports Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville. You can also watch us on X, Facebook, and every other social media platform that we're live streaming from Monday through Friday right here on the Chase, 1 to 3. Appreciate you guys sticking with us here in hour number one. Ryan Sylvia of Rocky Top Insider in studio with us here on a Wednesday. Producer Matt Bailey also still back there on the ones and twos as we continue on here. Ryan, I have to make the case here. This is going to, I think, surprise some folks when you think about just the current stature of the programs. I understand that Kirby Smart and Georgia have set the standard. Won 2 national titles here in the last 4 years. Had a great run. Tennessee is 0 for 4 in the Heupel era against Georgia. They get them in week 3 here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We'll see how that ultimately unfolds. Still a lot of offseason football to go and a couple regular season games to see before we can start making predictions and see where that ultimately goes for Tennessee if they have a better shot here in their 5th attempt to upset the Dogs here. But when you think about where things currently stand in terms of what the status of Georgia's football program in 2025 is, they have uncertainty at quarterback in Gunnar Stockton. We'll see. He played a little bit, obviously a fearless guy in that Texas SEC title game when he was thrust into action. He did okay, I think, against Notre Dame in that CFP game. I don't think he did great. I think it was fine. He's uncertain. Like, we don't know what he's ultimately going to be. You don't have the offensive coordinator that you had in Todd Monken. Mike Bobo, you can say he's still a good offensive coordinator. He's not elite. Todd Monken was the best play caller in college football when he was Georgia's offensive coordinator when they were winning national titles. They haven't won a national title without Todd Monken to this point. I think that's worth noting. A lot of Tennessee fans, every offseason, the last 2 years, where's Alex Golish been? They really miss Alex Golish. And Tennessee's offense and passing game has not been the same since Alex Golish has left. Who knows how much that has contributed to the issues with the passing game offensively the last 2 years. That's another crossover I've noticed. Georgia's thin at running back. They have Nate Frazier, big-time guy, 5-star guy out of California. He's back. Injuries have kind of devastated that room. They are now kind of relying on Josh McCray, a late transfer from Illinois, to add some depth there. If Frazier's not around, you're kind of like looking at this roster and you're like, are you going to go freshman Bo Walker? Or are you going to go... I mean, there's not a lot of obvious guys that they can just throw in there. Chauncey Bowens, like, is that someone Georgia's going to rely on? They don't have the Gurleys and the Chubb combos, the Michelles of the world anymore. That's a little bit different. It's going to be a variety approach, and it's going to be some uncertainty. The offensive line was not great at Georgia last year. They had issues with interceptions. Carson Beck really struggled throughout the middle part of the year. The passing game at Georgia, they led the country in drops. Tennessee had a wide receiver drop problem last year. Tennessee remade their wide receiver room this year. Guess who else remade their wide receiver room? The Georgia Bulldogs. The difference, tight end, they're deeper than Tennessee, but Tennessee's stacking some blue chippers. I mean, you got Dashawn Brame and Jack Van Dorselaer coming in as 2 4-star blue chippers. Ethan Davis figures to be a part of this team here in year 3 as a former 4-star Collins Hill Eagle. The power and the best version of Georgia comes from their front 7. Who else gets their power and strength from their front 7? It's the Tennessee Volunteers. You look at Tennessee's linebacker room. It's really strong. Where has Tennessee been recruiting the best over the last couple of years in the Heupel era? Under William Inge, Coach Chop, and Ronnie Garner. Does that sound similar? It's also what Georgia's doing. Georgia's front 7. That's where they've dominated. Biggest difference on the defense? Safety. KJ Bolden, Malachi Starks. They've gotten 5-star, 4-star safeties. Tennessee is not. It's just not where things have gone in that regard. There's just a lot of stuff when I was thinking about where they currently are versus like the narrative, which is Georgia is the premier program. They're the favorite to just make the CFP again. They're just penciled in to have another double-digit win season. Georgia showed their warts last year. Georgia got curb stomped by Ole Miss last season. They got blown out and then came all the way back against Alabama, but they got in a 28-0 hole against Bama. They barely got by Kentucky. I don't know if you remember that game, but they barely got by Kentucky, Ryan Sylvia. This is not the Georgia team of 3 years ago. There's no first-round interior defensive tackle on Georgia. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are not there. They lost their expected starting edge in Damon Wilson to Mizzou. We're going to see if Elo Medozi, the transfer from Army, spring transfer guy, does he step in and he's just going to be an ace off the edge with that big of a jump in competition? We'll see. But this is not the same Georgia team of old. And I think part of just the NIL transfer portal era, you're never going to see that level of talent and disruption. I mean, Justice Terry was someone who would scare me on the schedule this year if he was a Georgia Bulldog. He 5-star late addition to Texas. You will not see interior. You'll have Christian Miller and Jordan Hall. 2 question marks for the Dogs. There is so much crossover here that I think that game is going to be a lot more fascinating in week 3 in Neyland Stadium than a lot of folks maybe are anticipating. And this is just not the same Georgia team that you need to be afraid of as what you saw 2 to 3 years ago.
The thing is, you make all those points and they're all correct. They still won an SEC championship last year. So I think there's levels to it where Georgia's a premier program in college football. I don't think there's any arguing otherwise. I went through the SEC Media Day ballots and all of that, and I had Georgia finishing second in the SEC. They're probably 11-1 this year. At worst, probably 10-2, and that's still getting you in the playoffs in the SEC. So there's tiers to it. Georgia can have a lot of the same issues that Tennessee has in a lot of the same spots. I would still say Georgia's a better team than Tennessee, and I would still be decently surprised if Tennessee is able to beat Georgia this year inside Neyland Stadium. Now, Tennessee's not light years behind Georgia, but Tennessee hasn't made it to an SEC championship game yet under Josh Heupel. Tennessee hasn't gone past that first round of the playoffs yet, and it's a great step to get in the playoffs in the first place, but Georgia's a national championship level program, obviously, if you look back 3 and 4 years ago. So are the issues similar? Yeah, but you can also say, that some ACC programs like a Virginia Tech or something has similar issues to Tennessee. If they met on the football field, Tennessee's still going to handle that game and win decently, but they can still have some of the same issues in some of the same spots. So I think you kind of have to look at the tiers, and it's like there's similarities, but unfortunately for Tennessee fans right now, and like I said, the gap's not massive, but there is a gap. And if Tennessee is able to win in week 3 this year against Georgia, it would be an upset. It would be an upset.
What do you think, Matt?
I think that this is our best shot at Georgia that we've had under the Josh Heupel era here at Tennessee. I think that this schedule change up has really given us a better chance here, because usually, we're playing Georgia late in the season, November, second to last game of the year, pretty much. And you're like, by that point, Georgia's already gotten, if they have problems in the offseason that like questions, they've already gotten those figured out by November. And when you're playing them this early, third game of the season, they're not going to have all those questions figured out. And we probably won't either. But I think that just those questions give us a better chance at Georgia, and just have given us basically just a better chance altogether to beat them this year out of any of the years that we've played them under the Josh Heupel era.
Well, you saw the formula last year, right? Ole Miss with Walter Nolan, Princely and company, they sent the house. Like Pete Golding at Ole Miss was getting after Carson Beck and company. It was rainy. It was a monsoon type of game, but they dominated the line of scrimmage. If Tennessee is going to have a shot at beating Georgia here in week 3, Joshua Josephs has to make that leap. Jackson Moy has to make that leap. I think you probably need David Hobbs in the interior to make a leap. I think you need Tyree West opposite of Joshua Josephs to make that leap. You also have to be a lot more aggressive. Carson Beck got back 40 times in that game in Athens and didn't hit the ground once. You're not going to live with just not rushing, with only rushing 4 against the Dogs here in Knoxville, Tennessee, that third week of the season. That's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to beat Georgia that way. And you also got a quarterback who has never walked into an environment. This will be his first road start where he's walking into a venue where lots of folks have talked about this. It's going to be the loudest environment that Gunnar Stockton probably walks into in 2025. And the crowd's going to get on him. If he's struggling early, if he appears rattled and not ready for the moment, and someone who is just kind of green still, that is in Tennessee's favor. There is a path to Tennessee having the better quarterback in week 3 of the 2025 season than not. And that has not been the case all 4 seasons thus far. Even, I understand, Hendon Hooker was also in 22. Stetson Bennett was wheeling and dealing in Athens on that Saturday. And part of it wasn't Hendon's fault. Like, there was just no answer for Jalen Carter in the interior, and Hendon's got a short drop back, and it was just, Jalen Carter was in the backfield before it felt like the ball was even snapped. And just, it is what it is. Tennessee's offensive front just could not handle Georgia's defensive line. But again, that defensive line is not there anymore. Tennessee's offensive line, I think, held their own last year against Georgia. I think last year we saw the most complete game we have seen from Josh Heupel and Tennessee against Kirby Smart to this point. You also saw, what did Georgia Tech do when they pushed Georgia in Athens last year? They ran the ball down their throats. Haynes King was putting his head down and showing no fear. They played keep away. They played ball control. They ran the ball down Georgia's throat. I think that's a potential possibility still. Like, we'll see where Peyton Lewis is. We'll see what kind of runner Joey Aguilar is. But I think that's going to have to be part of the game plan, is you're going to have to play keep away. You're going to have to keep, you run the ball down their throats and take your shots when you can. But if you rush 5, 6, and Edwin Spillman, Arion Carter is great off the edge. You have Jordan Ross in the Rabbits package potentially sliding over there across from Joshua Josephs. There's a path, and the path is trenches. And I think Tennessee, when they match up that third Saturday, you're going to look at the defensive line for Tennessee against Georgia's offensive line, and you're going to look at Tennessee's offensive line versus Georgia's defensive line. And they're going to look a lot closer in size and stature than they have at any point in the Tennessee Kirby Smart versus Josh Heupel battle here over the last 5 years. And that's where the blue chip ratio number comes into play, Ryan Sylvia, is that when you're over 54% of your roster is blue chippers from the high school ranks, that includes guys like David Sanders, who is going to come in, and you're like, that looks like a SEC offensive tackle. If William Satterwhite wins the center job, you look at William Satterwhite and you're like, that looks like an SEC starting center. Sam Pendleton from North Carolina, right guard at Notre Dame. If he wins a guard spot, he comes in there, you're like, that looks like a CFP level guard. Wendell Moy giving up 1 sack his entire career thus far with a bunch of snaps, and his size and nature, how mean he is on the interior running the football. You look at him and you're like, that's a guy who can be a guard in the SEC, who can protect, whether it's Joey Aguilar or Jake Merklinger. And then on the flip side, there's blue chippers everywhere on the defensive line. The front seven is going to be mostly blue chippers, brushing the passer, trying to get in Gunnar Stockton's face, and giving Georgia's offensive line that had a lot of problems last year, all sorts of problems with multiple guys to replace on that offensive line for the Dogs. So for me, I'm not as wary of Georgia in 2025 as I've been in years past. Todd Monken's not walking through that door.
I think that brings up a good question that Matt kind of posed. Is this Tennessee's best chance to beat Kirby Smart in Georgia since Josh Heupel got to campus? If Tennessee had the same quarterback from the time they started spring camp, whether that was Nico or whether Nico decided to leave before that and they brought someone else in, I would say yes. I think that's a fair thing to say. I think the points you made about Gunnar Stockton are very fair. There's little experience. He's had some high leverage moments under his belt already, but there still is some little experience. And going into a true road environment like Tennessee could be if they are an undefeated team at that point, which we expect them to be if they are able to take care of Syracuse. And maybe if the offense starts to get rolling a little bit and the fan base starts to get behind the offense, then yeah, that's a scary atmosphere for him to go into. It's just that quarterback situation is tough for me. I love Tennessee's chances last year compared to obviously 2021, but even that 2022 game and of course 2023 at home kind of felt more like 21 as well. But last year on the road, with how poor Georgia looked at times, with the turnover issues that Carson Beck had at times, with what other teams were able to do to Georgia, it felt like a game that you expected Tennessee's defensive line to be able to rattle Carson Beck a little bit. You kind of win the field position battles, and you win how Tennessee won so many games last year, where you just kind of chipped away. You forced a couple big turnovers. You gave the offense good field position. You punched it in 1 or 2 times. You kicked a couple field goals, and all of a sudden you saw yourself up 24-17 at the end of the game, and you take that win. It felt like there was a path for Tennessee to do that last year. Obviously, that's not how it ended up going, but it's just that quarterback situation this year that gives me a little bit of pause for Tennessee, because Georgia's defense is going to be good. And if it is Joey Aguilar that wins the job and he starts turning the ball over, things could start to snowball. I don't expect Joey Aguilar to turn the ball over at an absurd clip like he did last season. I think it'll look a little bit more like 23, considering what Josh Heupel is going to put within the offense. But at the same time, like, that is just still my big holdup in so many of the big games. It's like, man, if you just had the same quarterback, doesn't even need to be Nico, could have been anyone for the entire offseason, it just feels like the ceiling for Tennessee would have been so much higher.
We'll see, but we'll leave it there. Don't fear the Georgia Bulldogs in 2025. Maybe it's famous last words for me right here on the Chase, but I think there's a lot of crossover, and I think Tennessee fans should feel pretty good about where things stand with both programs going into the 2025 season. When we come back, hour number 2 here with Ryan Sylvia of Rocky Top Insider in studio. We'll continue on our Vols Hoops New Faces, New Roles series here in the offseason with Dwayne Brown and Lauren Hurst. So we'll get to know both the new Vols and Lady Vols here with Ryan Sylvia of Rocky Top Insider in studio. Stick with us. It's The Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app.
Follow us on Twitter or X or whatever the they're calling it these days at Fox Sports Knox. Fox Sports Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Launch your career? Axe Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axel proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axel, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axel Logistics is the place to start your career.
Sick of Googling the best bets for tonight and coming up short? Tap into the slate presented by VIP Play, East Tennessee's only on-air gambling show. I'm William Pattison, and every weekday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm giving you sharp analysis, trends, and picks for college football, the NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. If it's on the books, we've got you covered. It's the slate presented by VIP Play, weekdays at 6 on Fan Run Radio.
Every 40 seconds, a child goes missing somewhere in the U.S. You can help in the effort to find missing kids simply by donating your car or boat to Find the Children, a nonprofit organization dedicated to returning missing children to their families. Find the Children works closely with national and community agencies and organizations and helps distribute flyers and posters that are directly responsible for recovering missing kids. Your car or boat donation helps protect and recover children in every state and community by sponsoring child safety and recovery programs. For fast, free pickup, call anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Running or not, your car, truck, van, RV, or boat will be towed away free of charge. Fast, free pickup, plus it's tax deductible. Everyone wins when you donate your car or boat to Find the Children.
Call right now. 800-466-8813. 800-466-8813. That's 800-466-8813.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
White Claw is taking hard seltzer to new heights with White Claw Surge. At 8% alcohol, White Claw Surge is a stronger wave of refreshment that doesn't compromise on taste. Available in 4 bold waves of flavor like ripe blackberry, citrusy blood orange, zesty natural lime, and tart cranberry. Check out your favorite retailer in-store and online for the White Claw Surge Variety 12-pack and 16-ounce single-serve cans. White Claw Surge. Please drink responsibly.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game, Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
It's the chase! It's the chase! Live 1 to 3, Monday through Friday on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville. Listen to Chase and his friends on WKG. It's the chase! It's the Scruffy City! Listen to his friends, and his friends are on WKGN. I'm always taking your calls on the Tennessee Vols. It's the chase. It's the chase. It's the chase.
It's the chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app. You can also watch us over there on YouTube, back on the live stream there, also on X and Facebook. Ryan Sylvia of Rocky Top's Insider in studio with us here on a Wednesday. Ryan Sylvia, as we continue our Balls, Hoops, New Faces, New Roles series here, Dwayne Brown, what was he as a recruit? 4-star kid out of Hoover, Alabama. I think the #1 player in the state of Alabama in his class here as I'm going to say a 5 until proven otherwise. He plays a little 4, depending on how he shoots the ball at Tennessee, but it seems like he's primarily going to be a 5 here, at least at the outset, where Tennessee's needs are. What does he bring to UT, and how will he need to evolve and adapt to play for Rick this season?
Yeah, he'll be in that forward group with the Felix Okpars and the JP Estrella, Cade Phillips, Jalen Carey, that kind of quartet of guys. He's kind of the fifth wheel right now as a true freshman. So we'll see how much he actually sees the floor this year. But he stands at 6'9". That's the same height as Cade Phillips. The difference is he has 40 pounds on Cade Phillips. So that kind of tells you a little bit about the differences between those guys. Cade Phillips more of a high flyer, catching lobs, and that's definitely something they'll ask of Dwayne Brown, but maybe doesn't have the twitchy bounce type of deal that Cade Phillips has, and so far haven't seen much of an ability to space the floor from him. I'm not saying that's not something that he could improve on and add to his game going forward, but it just hasn't been something that he's done to this point in his career. So yeah, it seems more like someone that's going to stay down low. I think he's got a great frame to be someone that can set a lot of screens, be a threat in the pick and roll, and do different things like that. But to me, it just seems like someone that they're looking more at down the line of being someone that can make a big impact. Like, you want to think about, oh yeah, that pick and roll with Jacoby Gillespie is going to be awesome. But it's more likely maybe that pick and roll with Troy Henderson in a couple of years from now, just with kind of the back jam at forward that Tennessee has. And that could change as soon as next year when Felix Okpara is theoretically out of eligibility. We'll see about, if they had some fifth-year rulings and stuff beforehand. But if the rules stay the same, then maybe that does give a little bit of a path for him to be, maybe that number 2 center behind a JP Estrella. But that just kind of feels like where we're at with him is get him some run and out of conference play and see where he's at, and obviously have him practice and do all those different things. But when we see kind of the full deal from him is probably going to be in a year or two rather than as a true freshman.
Yeah, it's interesting because him and Troy Henderson seem like they've had good summers, right? Like, and I think ahead of where Tennessee thought they were going to be coming in as true freshmen, right?
I think that's fair. Like, especially Troy Henderson has been extremely impressive, and someone that's really feels like as early as you can project things. So there's still obviously a lot of time to go, but someone that feels like they're kind of pushing. But that's a position where maybe there is some area to push for play time. There are holes in the backcourt, and Berg coming aboard definitely changes some of that. But at the same time, like, there still is a spot behind Jacoby Gillespie that you could take. Is there much of a spot for Dwayne Brown to take in the front court? I'm not sure. If they're healthy, like Felix Okpara, Jalen Carey are probably your 2 starters, and then you have the Cade Phillips, JP Estrella combination. It's tough to imagine outside of foul trouble situations, which we've seen as recent as 2 years ago, where JP Estrella was kind of in the same boat as a true freshman, where all of a sudden, you're in foul trouble, and Jonas Adu and Toby Awaka aren't getting the job done in that Elite 8 game against Purdue, and JP Estrella comes in and plays a big role. So I think maybe that's a little bit of a comparison for what to expect from Dwayne Brown in year one. It's similar to what we saw from JP Estrella in year one, where it's not going to be every SEC game. It's not going to be every game, but there's certainly maybe some opportunities for him to show flashes, and then look 2-3 years down the road like we are right now with JP Estrella. And it's like, oh, he could play a big role here.
And that's the whole thing, is like the JP Estrella part of it. I'm a JP guy, but Dwayne Brown is going to be competition for JP Estrella. There's no question that is going to be a battle for minutes, and JP's been gone for a year. And I mean, is he even full go yet as of this point? Do we know?
No, at practices so far. I mean, he's obviously improved from where he was a year ago or a few months ago to this time. So I think it's still the progression they expected. I'm not saying there's any backtracking or setbacks or things like that. But no, he is not, at least at the practices that the media's been able to see, a complete full go. But I think, to your point, like, having depth is never an issue. Having someone behind JP Estrella that's going to push him, and having, maybe the opportunity with JP Estrella for him to push and try to push JP, like that's kind of the iron sharpens iron. Same situation with the quarterback room that we've talked about with Tennessee for a while now. It's like, yeah, when you have the set job, you can get a little complacent. When you have 2 guys really going at it, like, you don't have an excuse to not watch film that day or to not work out. Like, you have to be on top of your game every single day.
Yeah, and I mean, I just don't think JP is any sure thing. As much as I can be pro JP and wanting to experiment, like, if the defense isn't there, he's going to struggle to stay on the court, right? And he's got to stay healthy more than anything. Like, JP's got to get healthy and stay healthy. And it's not JP's fault, but he's just got to stay healthy to be a part of this rotation. But he's got the highest offensive upside of any of the bigs. So it's just an interesting balance for Barnes to have to navigate here. It's a good problem to have, where you have a true freshman that you think could help you earlier than you thought. You've got a guy coming off injury who has the best bag offensively of anyone in your big rotation. You've got a veteran shot blocker who's very comfortable in the pick and roll, and Felix Akpara, and one of your leaders and returnees, who obviously has played a lot of college basketball at this point. He seems like a perfect fit, obviously, in the Rick Barnes system. And then you have the fours of Cade Phillips and Jalen Carey, who maybe sometimes can play the five. Like, it's just, you have a lot of guys you can move around. And depending on how Dwayne Brown shoots, depending on how JP Estrella shoots, like, Tennessee is going to have a lot of options. But I do think with the fact that redshirting, I think, will be a way of the past here sooner rather than later. There's no, like, we got to keep Dwayne Brown or Troy Henderson off the floor because we want to protect a redshirt or something like that. Dwayne Brown can help you over JP, and he's healthy and he earns Barnes' trust, then he'll pass him in the rotation. Like, it's just an equal opportunity situation. And if Barnes trusts you, you're going to play. He's going to give you that opportunity to make that happen. But I'm very curious to see how Brown and Estrella battle, because I think there's only so many minutes to go around, Ryan. And I think Felix Akpara is going to gobble up a lot of minutes at the five. Part of it, I guess, just depends on him being in foul trouble and how much that's a problem for Tennessee this year. But if he's not in foul trouble most games, he's going to play a lot of minutes.
I think it'll be nice to, when the season really gets rolling and you're going through out of conference play, and they have that stretch where it's just a brutal out of conference schedule. But besides that, when things are a little bit calmer and you're heading into SEC play, to be able to stretch things out a little bit in the second halves where Felix doesn't have to play a bunch and you just simply have the bodies down low, that could pay a lot of dividends at the end of the season. Like, that could be a big deal when you are heading into March, when you're trying to head into April and be one of those last teams standing, where last year we saw the toll that took on some of those forwards' bodies. And this year, I think you have the opportunity where you can stretch things out a little thinner and you can get some minutes off of these guys. And someone like Felix Akpara, who had to play so much basketball last year because you didn't really have a backup center option behind him, like a true center once JP Estrella went down. Now that you do have multiple guys that you feel like can step up and play that spot, it could mean you have a much healthier Felix Akpara once you do get to March Madness, once you do get to the SEC tournament. And I'm interested to see what type of impact that could have in big moments. If you feel like, hey, maybe your guys are a little bit better rested. Of course, no one's going to be 100%, especially at Tennessee with the type of defense they play. They're going to be banged up. But if you can get a tick or two more healthy at that time of year, that could make a big difference as well.
On the Lady Vols side of things, Lauren Hurst, what can you tell us about the freshman and sister of Grant Hurst, correct?
Yeah, younger sister of Grant Hurst. She's a two-sport player. I talked to her after her commitment to Tennessee. She said she planned on being a two-sport athlete with the Lady Vols as well. She's also a very, very good volleyball player. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what that looks like. But that is her initial plan going into things, is to play both sports. She's with the Lady Vols basketball team right now, though, and that is kind of the one that takes more headlines, obviously. So that's where more attention is. And she has the potential to be really good at both, but particularly basketball. She's someone that can shoot the ball. She's someone that, is athletic and quick enough to run the floor and play in the press and do all those different types of things. So, of course, the proximity helps to get you on the radar of the Lady Vols, and having an older brother that's in the Tennessee basketball family already definitely helps get you on the radar of things as well. But she's a top 100 recruit. She's one of the better players out of the state of Tennessee. I can't remember exactly where she sat in the rankings as far as Tennessee goes for the class, but it was up there. So
from Cleveland, right?
Yes, from Cleveland, Tennessee, just a little south of here towards Chattanooga, obviously. But she's still someone that I think the Lady Vols probably could have identified as well, even if she wasn't from the state. So it's not just there's a pretty good player in the state, let's get someone to fill out the roster. No, I think they do like her as someone that could make an impact. As far as how quick that's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be year one, because this roster is just so deep. And she is one of the lower rated of the 5 freshmen that are coming in. And that's, not saying much, because it's an incredible class of 5 freshmen they're bringing in. But with the transfers, with the returners, with some of the other freshmen, it's going to be maybe a little tough for her to see the floor. Once again, once SEC play rolls around, I'm sure she'll get her shots and out of conference play and things like that. But she is someone that I think, similar to Dwayne Brown that we just talked about, maybe could play a little bit this year, but I think you have your eyes a lot more set 1, 2, 3 years down the road of when it's like, okay, yeah, she's really in the rotation and she's really making a big impact.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty fascinating with how all of these top 100 freshmen assimilate here with Kim Caldwell in year 2. And Lauren Hurst, like you said, I think people are just not, like, because Grant being a walk-on and a great, I think they're going to be like, oh, whoa. And this is, again, Grant is great, valuable piece to the Tennessee men's basketball program. But Lauren is going to be someone who, I mean, she has a pretty high ceiling at Tennessee. And I think she's someone who could be a multi-year key player for Kim Caldwell and the Lady Vols. But I kind of wonder, from your vantage point, you said it's crowded, and it's a great point in just terms of how much talent's coming in and how much returning talent they have, and then how active Tennessee was in the portal here in year 2. What is the thing that, when you examine her game and what you know about her coming out of high school, that is going to give her the best chance to stand out amongst the freshmen and earn an opportunity to play a little bit for Kim Caldwell next year?
Probably her shooting, I guess. If she can really just shoot the lights out, I think that could go a long way. Like, that's obviously something that any basketball coach would like and any team would like. But if you look at Tennessee's roster this year, there is some questions here and there about where are some of these, shots from range going to come from. Ruby Whitehorn, Talia Cooper, 2 fantastic scorers that can shoot the 3, but weren't crazy efficient at it last year. So if she's someone that stands out and it's like, okay, man, she can't miss right now, then maybe she could crack the rotation earlier than you would think. But man, if you look at the roster right now and what, the theoretical depth chart would be, if you pencil in the 3 transfers as all being a consistent piece of the rotation, if you pencil in all of the returners as being a consistent part of the rotation, then you really have 1 or 2 spots left, maybe 3, if you really want to stretch it to who can actually be in that rotation. So I think the Paldo twin that was higher ranked, I think she's someone that is likely going to play as a freshman. And then you kind of have an internal battle maybe between Jada Silva and Denia Prawl, 2 of the other McDonald's All-American freshmen you bring in. You can try to put them both on the floor. I think, they'll both get a chance early in the season, but at some point you might have to maybe trim that a little bit. And that's when you look at the other Paldo sister and then maybe Lauren Hurst as being people that on other teams, they could be impactful true freshmen, but with how stacked this Lady Vols roster is, there might have to be some feelings hurt here and there as far as who can actually get on the floor just with all the talent that they have. It's not as clear cut. Last year, I think you went into the season with Edie Darby. She's a walk-on. I don't think you expect her to play much. Destiny Wells, coming off that injury, the system maybe doesn't fit her the best in the first place. Probably not going to play the biggest role in the world. You could kind of go down the list. Avery Strickland, someone that is going to play somewhat of a role. We saw that late in the year, but probably not going to be an everyday 20-minute player. This year, it's a lot more vague and a lot more spots that could be defined as we build up to the season.
Yeah, I'm very fascinated, as we've talked about here in this preview series, how Kim handles all of this, because it is an influx of super talented freshmen that she is this is a level of talent. No disrespect to Marshall or anywhere else. Like, this is different for Kim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Talia Cooper obviously inheriting a great talent. She wasn't a 5-star, right? She was 4-star?
Talia was a 5-star.
She was a 5-star? Yeah. Okay. So you have Talia coming back, and that's obviously a big part of this too. And that's going to help. It's a great help to have Talia lead this next crop of 5-stars and blue chip players that are coming in here playing under Kim. But I don't know. I do think it's going to be pretty fascinating in this regard, and what ultimately happens for Tennessee and Kim Caldwell in year 2. And Lauren Hurst is just another one where, I mean, you're going to be wanting to be locked in on the men's side of things in terms of just, we've made jokes about the hockey line shifts that we might see early on for Tennessee with Eitan Berg now officially in the fold, and just how deep that side of things is, just with 15 guys. But on the lady side, I think you're going to see something similar. Like, we were all pretty, it was pretty jarring seeing it early on of the mass hockey changes for Kim, but I think you're going to see something similar in year 2 starting out, because you just have so many new faces and talented faces, and the competition is going to be strong for minutes, because it's a upgraded roster, but it's just a whole lot more youth, right? And that will have to be pretty fascinating to see how Kim balances this influx of blue chip talent at the youth spot, and then also her transfers who are ready to roll as well. So we'll keep the conversation going. When we come back, we'll talk South Carolina, Oklahoma, and Florida. Who of those 3 we think is most likely to make the CFP? And then a prediction officially from On Three's JD Piquel on Tennessee's record in 2025. So we'll talk about that and his thoughts on Tennessee officially here over there at On 3. So stick with us, The Chase, right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app.
Catch up with all things Fan Run by subscribing to our podcast feed. Like, rate, and download the show from the Fan Run app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is your boy Thomas Miles, nephew Tommy. Fellas, let's get real for a second. Erectile dysfunction isn't just physical. It can mess with your head, your confidence, and even your relationship. But guess what? There is hope. Men's Pro Knoxville has helped men right here in our community get their confidence back. They got a team of licensed medical providers who find a way to get results. Powerful, lesser-known treatments for mild to moderate ED could have you performing like you haven't in years, or helping you stay performing. And listen, pills don't work for everybody. Maybe they stop working or the side effects weren't worth it. Men's Pro Knoxville builds a plan around you. Your consultation is just $99. That includes your blood work, medical consult, and if advised, a test dose. Results? They got an in-house lab, so you'll know where you stand in minutes, not days. So let me ask you, when was the last time you couldn't perform? And how did that make you feel? You deserve better. Call 865-544-8220 or go to menspronknoxville.com today. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
Citizens National Bank. You want a bank that lets you bank when and where you want to. Your local branch, the grocery store, your computer, your phone, it's up to you. You want people who care about taking care of you and your money too. Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Your Smokies are back home this week, and so many great promotions every single night, like all-you-can-eat Wednesday and Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers. Huge special guest on Friday. You guessed it, Santa and Mrs. Claus. It's Christmas in July. And on Saturday, it's wrestling night with live matches after the game. Fireworks both nights. Sunday, make sure to get the little ones out early with Peppa Pig. I'm Peppa Pig. Grab your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Believe in family. Believe in your fellow man. Believe in honesty and an honest day's work. We do. We're Farm Bureau Insurance. And we don't just believe in Tennessee. We believe in Tennesseans. Farm Bureau Insurance. Tennessee's insurance company.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance for Tennesseans. Believe in me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
Ready to launch your career? Axle Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axle proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axle, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axle Logistics is the place to start your career.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
It's a chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app. Ryan Sylvia in studio with us here on Rock Top Insider. The Fast and Furious song never gets old. It has to be a part of my daily rotation here on the chase. I don't know if you feel the same, but nothing gets me going like some Fast Five and thinking about that Fast and Furious series. You've never seen it, right? I feel like we talked about this.
No, I've never.
That was very
not
dismissive.
A second of it.
Not a second. Have you done any of it, Matt?
Nah, never really been a fan of the Fast and Furious movies.
How would you know if you've never seen any of it?
I just there's only so much you can do with cars.
You can tell the vibe.
There's
from a
only so
mile
much you
away.
can do.
What's the vibe?
Not a good movie franchise.
Yikes! Not only is that
Boring.
okay, Fast
I'm
and
not an
Furious.
action movie guy though, and I don't like superhero movies really. So,
but
kind of same vibe.
It's not really like a superhero vibe. I don't
just
feel like
like
I'm going to see
action.
Marvel when
I'm
I'm
not-
going into.
I'm not
Fast
watching Tom Cruise that often. I can like some Top Gun Maverick though. I did like Top Gun.
Top Gun's fine. Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick are solid. I think they're solid movies, but Mission Impossible, I will agree with you that always James Bond, like Casino Royale, one of my all-time favorites. It's gonna be hard to replace Daniel Craig. They haven't announced a new Bond yet, have they? I feel like that's been rumored for years now, who the next James Bond's gonna be, but I don't think they've announced a new one.
I ain't gonna be there, so I don't really care.
Goodness gracious, what do you like seeing, Ryan Sylvia? What do
Star
you
Wars.
Is that you can not only watch Star Wars in theaters. We know about your Phantom Menace nonsense.
I
But
like Star Wars, and I like children's movies, like animated Pixar type of The Wild Robot type of stuff like that. Some Sing 2, 10 out of 10 movie. Paddington 2, 10 out of 10 movie.
yes, Paddington 1 and 2, but 2 especially.
Paddington Peru is a good movie at that.
It's good. It's the weakest of the three.
But it's still like an 9 out of 10.
I would say 9 out of 10, and then Paddington 2 is a 10 out of 10, and then a Paddington 1's 9.5 out of 10.
Paddington 2 might be an 11 out of 10. Like,
Paddington
I'm
2 is
not
a
even
perfect movie.
It is so good.
Paddington 2 is a fantastic movie. Matt's judging us from across the glass
It is
right now.
so
But
good.
Slightly. I've never watched a Paddington movie, so I guess I don't have room to really.
you
judge,
don't.
But
It's truly one of the best trilogies I've seen in my entire life.
You feel better. If you're having a bad
better
day.
than Star
Yeah.
Better not.
That's fair. I don't think that's.
It's in prequels.
Okay.
But I'm a prequel guy.
That's
I'm
hold
gonna
on.
like the
It is
prequels.
not in line with the prequels. We're not letting that slide. Paddington is
though.
What does that even mean? It doesn't
I
matter.
grew up alongside the prequel.
This means that's when you grew up.
Pod racing.
I mean, I got the pod racing
Darth
stuff.
Maul. He looks awesome. He's got 2 lightsabers.
He's in the movie for like 2.5 minutes.
I just rewatched it recently. I just rewatched Phantom Menace like a week and a half ago. It was so good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I forgot about
You
it.
said Phantom Menace was so good?
Yeah, it's the best one.
I don't think it's the best one. I still think Revenge of the Sith is my favorite. But I just like started. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like I'm just gonna watch them straight through that way, even if it is a jump back in time, like going from 3 to 4, because it's just like the era.
Yeah, you
when it
got
was recorded,
you got to go chronological, like of the movie timeline though.
yeah, definitely.
This is egregious. I just the prequels are bad. Revenge of the
Not
Sith is
bad.
good, but they're bad.
Jar Jar is bad. I don't like Jar Jar, but
Jar Jar is quite bad.
Misa like Jar Jar.
And you in the pod racing.
The pod racing's awesome.
You're all about pod racing, but
pod
Fast and
racing
Furious movies
is
are just
awesome.
no go.
The pod racing is one of
Street
the
racing
greatest
is
scenes.
10 times more entertaining.
No one, not about that.
The Fast and Furious franchise is electric stuff. Now it's gone on probably a little bit too long now, but I could absolutely throw on Fast 5, Fast and Furious 1. You could throw on all kinds of different Fast and Furious movies, and I'm just like, I'm there. At any point in the movie, I'll jump in and I'll be like, yeah, what's happening here? Let's check in on Dom. What's happening with Tyrese? Don't worry about it, cuh.
If they
Fantastic.
If they put some little alien freaks in Fast and Furious like there are in Star Wars and Sabula, the goat of pod racing, then maybe I'd watch it. But there's no little freaks in it, so I'm not going to watch it.
This is unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. But also, I will say, like, my favorite actor is Jake Gyllenhaal all time. So, like, I'm a big Jake stan. So, like, Prisoners and Nocturnal Animals and Nightcrawler and all of his great movies. I mean, I just think electric stuff. I kind of am sad that he hasn't really done anything of note lately. Yeah, we need to get him back in the swing of things. Jake's getting up there in age.
If you say so, I couldn't name a movie he's in.
I just named a bunch.
I know, but like I couldn't have told you that beforehand. I can't do actors. I have no knowledge on any of that stuff. It's a complete blind spot.
Well, I'll send you some recommendations on Jake
Okay.
Gyllenhaal movies.
Sounds good.
Well, we'll make it happen. Ryan Sylvia. Matt Bailey might get in, but I think there's no hope for Ryan Sylvia based on what I've learned here today. It's probably going to be a no-go. You're probably not signing up for the It series on HBO Max that's starting.
Like the
this fall?
clown?
Yeah.
No, I don't do horror at all.
Okay.
That's completely off limits. I'm not doing that.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm excited for it. Which naturally leads us to things that I'm not excited for, which is South Carolina, Florida, or Oklahoma potentially being that fourth college football playoff team this season, Ryan Sylvia. I have been thinking about this a lot, and this is something that when we've talked about where they're putting Tennessee in the playoff rankings or just in their SEC rankings, right? Like we talked last week about the SEC media poll. I think it was disrespectful. I also think it was just a complete misunderstanding of Tennessee's schedule and Tennessee's floor as a football program right now. But I also just think it would be pretty surprising if Tennessee goes back-to-back in college football playoff appearances. I would be very surprised this season in particular if they were able to reach it. But the schedule keeps them in the mix. And if the quarterback play is better than we think, and if Jake Merklinger's the guy, hey, it's a possibility. Boo Carter's on the team. Hey, I feel even better. If we get Jake and Boo back and ready to go here by week 4, sure, talk me into it. I can absolutely get there. But I do think South Carolina with the quarterback, if they have the best quarterback in the SEC, I think they have a strong possibility of getting that 4th spot. So if Lenore Sellers takes that final leap of elite college quarterback, they're going to be in that mix. The schedule is not that overwhelming and that daunting where I couldn't see them getting to 10 wins potentially as that 4th team. And then Florida, if the schedule wasn't what it was, I think we would all be looking at Florida as one of the 4 favorites to be in the CFP. I just kind of wonder if Florida at 9-3 with their schedule, would that be enough in the committee's eyes where it's like a 9-3 Florida is like a 10-2, 11-1 other school who, I wonder how they view like an 11-1 Miami potentially versus like a 9-3 Florida or something. Like, I don't know. I just kind of wonder, because I think it'd be more impressive if Florida can get to 9 wins with this schedule. I just think DJ Lagway has the potential to be the best quarterback in the country over the next couple of years. I don't want to be right about that, but TJ Lagway is a dude. 6-1 as a starter. Their only loss as a starter is a game that he left with the lead in the second quarter against Georgia. And then Oklahoma, the ultimate wild card, I think, of the 3, in that if John Mateer has a Cam Ward-like bump for Oklahoma, Ben Arbuckle is a big-time offensive coordinator hire. If the defense is as good, because the defense didn't fall off. Like, that's the whole thing. It's like the offense has been a train wreck under Barrett Venables last couple of years, but the defense has been good. The defense was elite. The defense pounded Alabama in Norman. The defense gave Tennessee all kinds of problems in Norman. So if the defense is there and Arbuckle and Mateer fix the offensive line is better than a season ago, I think they might be playing a true freshman 5-star tackle too, just like Tennessee. So I think that is okay if Jaden Ott is able to get acclimated and be a pretty productive tailback like what we saw 2 years ago at Cal. You can see them being dangerous, but I don't think all 3 will end up having dangerous CFP-worthy seasons. So with all that being said, Sylvia, which way do you lean of those 3?
I'll answer it like this. You mentioned the SEC media preseason, but I voted in it, so I can go down my list right now and show you who's at the highest of all of it. I have Texas winning the SEC this year. Not that I'm an Arch Manning super fan. I just think it's the most complete team. I have Georgia at number 2. We talked about a lot of their issues earlier, but once again, there's still just levels to it. And I cannot imagine this team finishes worse than 10-2, and they're probably an 11-1 team in my eyes. So I have them at number 2. Once again, not that I'm an LSU guy, that I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to have some Heisman type of season. I think LSU is going to be fantastic, but their schedule is not too tough. So when I vote on this too, I'm not just ranking teams off of how good I think they are. I look at the schedules and I pick a winner for each game. So the schedules do matter in this. I have LSU at number 3. We've talked about how I'm not very high on Alabama. I have a 9-3 Alabama at number 4 in my rankings. I go Ole Miss on number 5, and then I have Tennessee sliding in at number 6, also at 9-3. Now, to answer your question, that's why I have Oklahoma at number 7. I think John Mateer could be really good. Ott could be really good. The defense had, a pretty solid season last year and should be, probably a little bit better this year. Our Mason Thomas is great. They have a lot of the right pieces. Can Brent Venables get out of his way and just kind of let the offense do its thing and have the defense stay at that level? That's what I'm not fully confident about. I have Tennessee winning that game, which is part of the reason that Tennessee slotted at 6 and Oklahoma's down at 7. So out of those 3 teams, I'll go with Oklahoma. I have A&M at 8, and then I have South Carolina at 9. Lenore Sellers is awesome. He's great. Similar situation with Oklahoma. I'm not going to trust Shane Beamer for an entire season as well. And I think that roster is probably weaker than what Oklahoma has brewing over in Norman. So I have Carolina at 9, and then that's where I have Florida coming in at 10. And part of that reason, too, is, man, that schedule is tough. Even the SEC games they have, out of conference games don't help them, but God, even the SEC games aren't too great.
Matt Bailey, get in here. What do you think?
Personally, I think South Carolina has the best shot out of all of those three teams. Florida, obviously, the schedule is it's brutal. But I think that Oklahoma's schedule is almost, I mean, it's not Florida's schedule, but they have to play. I mean, do we think they're beating Michigan?
Yes.
I mean, Venables is in trouble if they drop the Michigan game at home.
I don't trust post Harbaugh Michigan right now, especially Bryce Underwood's going to start, right?
I mean, maybe they brought in Mikey Keene, who has a lot of starts under his belt. I don't know. Do you want to throw Bryce Underwood to the fire that early?
Either way, I have to like Oklahoma there.
I mean, I do too, but I don't trust Oklahoma there. I don't feel great about it.
I think trust is a fair way to put. I think it being in Norman too is a big difference. That could go a long way.
I think so too, but I think even if you give them that win, they still have to play at Texas. They're playing at South Carolina. They're playing Ole Miss. Then they're playing at Tennessee and at Alabama. This is all like game after game.
Mm-hmm.
This is not any breaks. There's no little FCS teams thrown in there. This is back-to-back games like weekly. And maybe you have a bye week in there somewhere. And then they play Missouri at home, and then they end the season with LSU at home. I think that schedule is a tough schedule. I don't know. I think that South Carolina can definitely slide in there with maybe three losses. But Oklahoma, I just see that schedule, and I don't see them as a top-tier team coming into this year.
Is it a playoff game almost then on October 18th at Willie B when Oklahoma heads to South Carolina? Is that to decide the 4th spot? I don't think it is. I don't think any of those teams are in the playoffs, but that's an interesting game all of a sudden for SEC standings if they are pretty close to each other, kind of trying to push for that 4th spot at that time of the year.
Well, don't forget, Oklahoma's at, I think, 70% in the blue chip ratio here, and Tennessee's at 54%. Like, the wins haven't been there for Oklahoma, but they have the talent. Like, they were devastated by injury last year. Like, the offensive line was a disaster. Jackson Arnold, you missed at quarterback. You missed on a 5-star. It happens. A lot of programs have missed on 5 stars in that class. Malachi Nelson. We'll see what Dante Moore looks like at Oregon this year. Nico here. I mean, Arch, biggest one in the class. We'll see what he does after 2 years of sitting on the bench. But it's a kind of a cursed class in a lot of ways when you look through that cycle. But yeah, I don't know. I think Oklahoma, it would be the least surprising if they put it all together. I mean, Ben Arbuckle is a great offensive coordinator. And what you saw from Wazoo last year, I think that combination, we've seen it just work. Like, you saw WKU brought in Bailey Zappi and their offensive coordinator. And that you saw Diego Pavia and Jerry Kill and company bring in that whole offensive side of the ball. Like, this strategy has worked at a lot of different spots of just like, not only are we going to bring in the quarterback transfer that we like, we're also going to bring in his coaching staff with him. We're going to bring in some of the guys that he likes. I mean, you look at, even Wazoo's replacement, Jimmy Rogers from South Dakota State. He's bringing a bunch of dudes from South Dakota State over to Wazoo. Running back, quarterback is actually retaining. But by and large, like, it's a pretty interesting strategy that more teams are doing because of the transfer portal era. We're like, hey, doesn't it make more sense if we're going to invest a lot of money in the transfer portal quarterback and we weren't happy with their offense last year? What if we just brought in his coach that he flourished with a season ago? And Jay Knott gave Auburn all kinds of problems 2 years ago. I don't know if y'all remember that game in California at Berkeley. He's a good, productive running back who feels like he's been in college forever. But if he's healthy and he's someone that has a good RPO chemistry with Mateer, I mean, there is absolutely a path with the talent that Oklahoma has and where I think their defense will be that they could figure it all out, put it all together for a breakout type of year. I mean, Venables won 10 games 2 years ago, right?
Did they win? I guess Big 12, obviously.
Yeah, but he still won 10 games.
Yeah.
Like, he does it. It's not like one of those where he hasn't had a breakthrough good year at Oklahoma yet.
I would like to see.
Yeah, he went 10-3 in 23.
I would still like to see even a portion of that success in the SEC, though, because they did not. Texas fit in pretty seamlessly to the SEC last year. It felt like Oklahoma struggled to match up on the field and culturally in the SEC in their first year.
Yeah. When we come back, we'll wrap up with some off-topic Lost in the Smokies segment here in terms of if you could have season tickets to any of your favorite teams. You just get one, though. Who do you pick and why? You can call us and join the conversation as we wrap up here on a Wednesday with Ryan Sylvia in studio, 865-966-3435. Again, you can call us, text us, 865-966-3435 right here on The Chase. Wrapping up on a Wednesday. Stick with us. The Chase, Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app.
Congratulations. You found sports radio that doesn't suck. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Yo, 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 what is up with it, homies? Talk sports. That's the show you want. It's the longest running sports radio morning show in town. You want your radio shows to be fun, and that's what Talk Sports is. Fun, fun, fun. No weirdo callers. I like Tennessee. Gonna go 6-6 this year. No nerdy guests. Well, their receiver depth is a little bit thin. Just two of the most entertaining guys in town, and Bubba giving you what you need. Tune in 7 to 10 a.m. every weekday here on Fan Run Radio.
Hey Knoxville, Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Rickard Ridge Barbecue, located in beautiful Cove Lake State Park. Rickard Ridge is home of the best ribs in the volunteer state. Smoked daily by pitmaster Mark Rickard. The barbecue at Rickard Ridge is mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone delicious. Take the scenic drive up I-75 to exit 134. For directions and to look at the rest of the menu, visit Rickard Ridge online at rickardridgebbq.com.
It's the Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. Always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app. And we're also back up on YouTube, wherever, X, Facebook. Guess what? You can watch us again. We're back right there with Ryan Sylvia and myself on the YouTube channel. So if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a thumbs up and join the live chat there. And you can also call us at 865-966-3435. It's the number to get involved with the show each and every day from 1 to 3 right here on Fan Run Radio, 865-966-3435. As we wrap up here with Ryan Sylvia and Matt Bailey, lost in the Smokies. Off-topic segment. We're going outside. We're lost in the wilderness. I can only talk about Boo Carter so long without just being completely demoralized for the rest of my afternoon. If you had an opportunity, money is no object, and you could get season tickets, and also location is no object, obviously, because we're all locally here in Knoxville, Tennessee. But if location and money is no object, and you could have season tickets to one of your favorite teams, who do you pick and why? Let's start with you, Ryan.
I'm going Red Sox. That was my biggest question, was location, because obviously I would get to one game a year if I was lucky. If
doesn't seem worth it for season tickets if that's what you're doing, yeah.
But if location, money, all that's not an issue, I'm going Red Sox. I'm a Red Sox fan. And Fenway Park is inarguably one of the greatest stadiums in the country. You can argue where it is on that list, but it's up there and it's towards the top with all the history and the uniqueness and things like that. And then you also get 81 games. You're getting like 10 to 15, I don't know exactly the number of games that are just against the Yankees. So you get that historic rivalry in it too. I think that's the bang for your buck. And I've enjoyed getting back into the Red Sox this year, kind of for the first time since I was younger. So right now for me, I think that's the move. And then second place, I guess, is the Titans, but maybe that's when I'll want more in a few years once Cam Ward gets a couple years under his belt than right now.
Okay. What about you, Matt?
Are we talking professional or just any of our favorite teams?
Well, I'm going to bring up the Tennessee part of this after. Okay. But yeah, professional first.
Professional first. I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan.
Yes.
Grew up.
Okay.
My dad's a huge Cowboys fan, so I guess I would go with the Cowboys, especially with location not being an issue, because obviously getting down to Dallas, down to Texas, for those games would just be miserable drives and flights. If you're paying that much money, I mean, you got money. So
the drives Russell Smith just made that drive, and I don't think he loved it.
Yeah, that's not great.
I mean, that's a hard drive from what I've heard. From Knoxville to Dallas, and I've just heard Texas is just keeps going.
It's huge.
It just keeps going.
Yeah, I flew down there recently, and like even the flights weren't bad, but like I couldn't imagine driving that.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not doing it.
No, absolutely.
6.5 hours now is a lot for me. Like I went home to Atlanta for the weekend, and 3.5 hours one way in the car. You're like getting kind of antsy. You're like, I got to get out of here. This is too much. And then Sylvia over here was doing the same day where he drove to Atlanta for SEC media and drove back. That is bonkers.
I didn't have to drive that one. I was just sitting shotgun, so that's not. I would rather sit shotgun than drive.
It's true, but still 7 hours in the car in one day. It's just hard.
No, for sure.
I don't know, but Cowboys would be fun. I think Jerry World, but they have some bad seats, right? Like they had that controversy where did they have seats like behind like a beam or something? Like someone's tickets were behind like some beam, so you couldn't even see the field from where the seats were. I want to say that was Jerry World, but I could be mistaken. But that would be a fun one for sure.
I guess that's another layer to it. Do you get to pick where your seat is? Is he at the 50-yard line, or is it just kind of roll the dice?
Well, that's another part of it.
Am I on top of the Green Monster? Like, where am I sitting in Fenway?
That sucks, right? Like, you wouldn't want to be on top of the Green Monster.
I think that'd be fine. If we're talking
for season tickets, you want to watch a lot of games at top of the Green Monster.
It would be up there if you could pick seats. I know there's a lot of really bad seats in Fenway. There's a lot of obstructed views, pole directly in front of home plate type of seats. So if I'm just rolling the dice, there's a decent chance I get a stinker there.
Ben Affleck's got the best seats. Whenever I see Ben Affleck at the game,
box seats. Like,
no, he's down low. Like he's front row. I mean, he's with the fans. Like he was down there with Jennifer Gardner and I think a couple of his kids last week or 2 weeks ago.
There you go.
But yeah, he was moving through. Ben Affleck, he still pops in there every once in a while. I don't know. I think Red Sox would be really fun to have season tickets, even if you're not a fan for a year, just to go to a bunch of, just because Fenway is just a historic venue. I think the same is true with Wrigley Field, where just a year of living in Chicago and just going to a bunch of Wrigley Field Chicago Cubs games would be, I think, a lot of fun. But I think for me, it still would be the Hawks, and I don't even really, I don't really hesitate there. I've been to probably more Atlanta Hawks games than I've been to Braves and Falcons games for sure. Braves is probably second on that list, and then Falcons is the least, but it's just so much fun. Like I've sat close at Hawks games. I've sat high up. I've sat okay. It's just, I love watching basketball in person. I think basketball outside of hockey is a great in-person venue to go watch a game. I still need to get over to Nashville for a Predators game in person, but I do love being in the building for hockey games. Hockey games are just a lot of fun, very intense. Fan reactions, awesome. I really enjoy the atmosphere there. But basketball for me, if I could have Atlanta Hawks season tickets, I would never get tired, because that's part of it too, is like, what do I think I would be most likely to give up tickets the most often? Or I'm like, I just don't want to go tonight. There would never be a night where I would be like, I don't really want to go see the Atlanta Hawks in person tonight play the Dallas Mavericks or the Charlotte Hornets. I would never have that feeling. And it's also not as big of a commitment. Like at basketball, 2.5 hours, 3 max sometimes. Like you're in and out. Football is a commitment. Like if you have, like, that is your afternoon, evening, whatever. Like that is when you have football season tickets. It's a baseball. You're like, man, do I have to go to every game this weekend? Like I would struggle with that. That's part of the reason with Tennessee baseball. When you think about of the big three, we can throw the Lady Vols in here too, in terms, especially on the women's basketball side of things. Like it's just the amount of games where you're like, how many games do I need to go to justify season tickets for Tennessee baseball? But I do love going to Tennessee baseball. It's like, can I get like a third package? Like where just give me one guarantee every weekend. That's what I would do. I would love a guaranteed weekend game for Tennessee baseball spring, and I would do that. But basketball, no chance. Basketball, that Tuesday night, Wednesday night game is always tough for me, especially when they're not great, especially on the baseball side, when the Xaviers of the world and those Tuesday nights, it's just not convenient, I feel like. But the Saturdays are a big part of it. But football, I think if I was doing Tennessee like power rankings in terms of if I could have season tickets and money is no object, it's football, because there's just nothing like being in Neyland Stadium. It's just that's another one where I'll never get tired of walking inside Neyland Stadium and just that whole feeling. It's been many years now, and it never changes.
Yeah, football is your entire day. That's not like how you said with the NBA. I've been to a couple Grizzlies games, and it's just part of your night almost to a certain extent. Football is from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you are doing football that day. But there's no better day spent than a college football Saturday, especially when in Knoxville. Like Neyland is one of those type of atmospheres too, where, I mean, you talk to people that come in from out of town and stuff, they might not even be necessarily Tennessee fans, and they're going to the Kent State game or something like that. And they're like, oh my gosh, like it was that for this quality of opponent. Like I just tried to get the cheapest ticket I could this year, and that's what this stadium looks like. So yeah, I think you'd have to go football. I haven't had to sit in the stands in a long time. Been lucky enough to be up in the press box. I've heard that it can get kind of tight now, and it's not the greatest time in your seats, but I still think the atmosphere, the pageantry, and everything else definitely outweighs all of those negatives. Even the parking aspects and stuff like that, if that's in the equation. But I would still go them number one. I think you can pick either basketball number 2, and then baseball's probably number 3, because good Lord, those games get hot too when the sun starts beating down.
Where are you going, Matt?
Oh, I'm 100% going football.
Yeah.
I'm a season ticket holder already.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Where are your seats?
They're in Y6.
Okay.
So like over there, north end zone, kind of like almost in it's like right behind where the recruits sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it's right in that section. So
how long have you had them?
I've been buying them for 2 or 3 years now.
So they're not like family, like you grew up with them, like season tickets.
No. Yeah, we get them from a former player. Former alumni. So we get we get some good seats there. But my brother also works for the athletic department, so he gets comp seats. So sometimes if it's like a bigger game or whatever, and we want to make a little bit of money, we'll sit in his comp seats that he gets for free, and then we'll sell our season tickets. So yeah,
so I know who I'm talking to this fall. I'm going to Matt Bailey. Note to self: stay on Matt Bailey's good side going into this fall.
Yeah. But yeah, football's king for me. Basketball, my brother also gets comp seats. We don't really go to that many basketball games, just to be honest. But I think the parking for basketball is worse, in my opinion. Because football, you can, you drive downtown, you can park somewhere, you can tailgate all day, and then you just walk to the stadium. Basketball, I'm not standing around and tailgating and then, all day. I'm just trying to get in the garage and then, get out. But it's bad trying to get in those garages down there, G10 or whatever. Yeah.
Well, what happens if G10 is torn down? Like the Neyland Entertainment District stuff? Like what happens if we go through with that in the construction and everything? Parking's already a problem. There's not enough of it downtown. But yeah, I don't know how that's going to work because that still hasn't even started. When is that supposed to start?
I thought they were supposed to be just building on top of G10.
That's what I thought I was going to go right on top.
They're keeping G10.
But would you be able to keep it open the whole time while you're doing this?
That's a good question in itself. I know some of the baseball games and stuff, the scheduling for baseball this past year, like you have a regional game going on at the same time WWE's in town. Say what you want about WWE, but that was horrific timing for everyone involved. So you got to take shuttles from the other side of campus just to get to the stadium, things like that. that'd be a tough season for a lot of people if you were shuttling to every basketball game or football games when you're not used to shuttling and things like that. That could be a little tricky, but I'm curious. I completely do not remember when that whole entertainment district stuff's actually supposed to happen.
Yeah. I haven't heard about it in a long time.
No.
Like you had remember the pictures and
hyped.
everything.
It was really hyped up for a minute and revolutionary, all this and that. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm curious. When is it? When are we breaking ground here? When are we actually going to get this done?
Well, let's finish Lindsey Nelson Stadium first.
Yeah, right.
I hope that's ready to go next year. And let's also fix, student seating at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. And by seating, I mean literal seating. So they're not standing the entire time over in that section.
There shouldn't be seats in the student section anywhere.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why?
You're a student. You're supposed to be bringing the energy. What they do need to change is the location of the student seating at Lindsey Nelson Stadium.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not going to change. But they're so far out of the picture now that it's tough. Like you rely on the student base to bring the energy at these games. And
well,
now
you should also let people move
corner.
down. Like the whole having empty seats on the broadcast in the fourth inning in the front behind home plate because people are super late or they're just not coming. It's like I think there should be a rule at Tennessee baseball games. If you're not here in your seat by the third inning at Lindsey Nelson Stadium,
it's tough.
People can move down.
I mean, we're talking these Tuesday games. They're starting like 4:30.
Yeah,
people are getting off work and starting the sixth inning, and they're just trying to catch the last few.
Well, Tuesday, I'm giving that's fine. Like the Tuesday game against Belmont, I'm not. That's fine. Friday night against LSU or something, and you've got empty seats behind home plate because they're just super expensive and folks taking their time getting there or parking's a problem, whatever. Let people move down. It just on the broadcast because there are a lot of people at these games. It's just scattered. And you should be able to move them in, move just the whole Kramer thing, the seat filler in that Seinfeld episode where Kramer, that was his job at that award ceremony, where to fill in the empty seats, we should have seat fillers at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. And the fans, if you have standing room only tickets, guess what? If you stand for 3 innings and no one claims those good seats, you being a trooper, let them move down. Why not?
I think that's fair. It's nothing's worse than a football, basketball, baseball, whatever it is, and they're paying, you see that chunk of empty seats.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, that does not optically look good when you see that stretch of just black, empty seats in really all 3 stadiums. It's usually the pricey ones too. So it definitely gets some fans riled up. They're like, why got all these pricey seats in? There's not a lot of butts in them, and it's not looking good on the broadcast.
Yeah, hey, it's all about the fan. We have talent fee going up. It's never been more expensive to be a sports fan than it is right now. Throw them a bone. Throw fans a bone and just be like, yeah, you can move down. And hey, they didn't get here in time, so you get the seats. Give it to the standing room only folks. That'd be cool. Or just someone who's late, early and they can move down, or they're that they've bought tickets multiple times, or it's just, I don't know. Context matters, but yeah, just fill in the seats, seat fillers, and all that. But yeah, either way, I think it'd be interesting. It would be fun. I've never had season tickets for anything, but you never know. Never say never. 34. I can get season tickets at some point. We'll see.
We'll get you a third of a season ticket allotment for baseball.
I would love that. Give me a third. I don't want to commit to anything more than that. I don't think my wife wants to commit to anything more than that. Ryan Sylvia, thank you for making the time here today in person on a Wednesday. Thank you to Matt Bailey on the 1s and 2s. The Drive with Russell Smith and the Bear up next, live from Smoky Stadium. So right here at the top of the 3 o'clock hour, stick with us. You'll get Russell Smith and the Bear on the Drive from 3 to 6. We'll be back tomorrow with Ethan Stone of Saturday Down South in studio on a Thursday, back at 1 p.m. Have a wonderful afternoon in Knoxville, Tennessee.
For the fans, by the fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
When it's past high noon, it's time for a vodka soda made with a vodka you've actually heard of. I'm talking White Claw vodka soda made with White Claw premium vodka. JB Smooth only drinks vodka soda made with the world's smoothest vodka.
And you can too. Pick you up a bottle of the triple wave filtered vodka that's been distilled 5 times. White Claw Premium Vodka comes in 4 flavors: black cherry, mango, pineapple, and just vodka. You haven't had vodka like this. No one has. White Claw Premium Vodka. Please drink responsibly.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess, but isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah, they specialize in working with